just to see you'd be late again. I thought you would care about me, say you were my best friend. Maybe you think I can't live without you. Maybe that's why you treat me so wrong. I'm not obligated to you. I don't want it this way. Don't be staring through those brown eyes. You must have seen that this was coming. When I tried to talk to you, you turned away. You say you wanna dance. You don't ever want to argue. You wanna love the night away. Girl, I won't stay. You say you wanna dance. You don't wanna talk it over. You wanna love the night away. Girl, I won't stay. It's not that I don't really love you. Girl, I just don't love your style. All this time you've been playing with my mind. Now you're running out of time. Maybe my love means nothing to you. Maybe you've seen through the heart in me. Maybe all that you're thinking is wrong. Maybe my love ain't so strong. You're staring through those brown eyes. You must have seen that this was coming. 'Cause when I tried to talk to you, you turned away. Say you wanna dance. You don't ever want to argue. You wanna love the night away. But girl, I won't stay. You say you wanna dance. You don't wanna talk it over. You wanna love the night away. But girl, I won't stay. No.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all on Century, East, West, North, South, Central, or Friends in Tobago. And wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. But of course, it is Sunday, and it means, therefore, if I'm meticulously or is very particular, it's because I am very conscious that I wasn't here last night or yesterday, Saturday. But that being as it may, of course, circumstances are beyond one's control. But that doesn't mean to say that we are not going to compensate or make up for, of course, a lost ground, so to speak. And tonight, of course, we'll do just that. But I want, of course, to focus on the fact. And then, of course, 100 days of the new administration. And there was a prediction by fellows like Al-Rawi that, of course, it wouldn't go a year, but 100 days has passed, or is about to pass. But the fact of the matter is that the UNC is here to stay. There are challenges, yes, so we cannot, of course, doubt that. But we are going to be as steadfast as possible, equitable as possible, and of course, in the fullness of time, because there are benefits already that normally you would not see in 100 days' time. We're not doing all that. But of course, but I want to be as well very, what I consider to be emotional and calm, serene, and therefore the music must reflect that. Not that I'm missing anything, but this is a good one. I want to tell you that somebody asked me to play that tonight, so that is why I'm so emotive. All right? So bear with me.
So darling, I can dream on it too. Each night while I'm sleeping, oh so lonely, I'll share your love and dreams that once were true. I've waited so long for you to write me, but just a memory's all that's left of you. Send me leave us feel this way. You know what? I'll be satisfied being here with you. You set my mind on fire anytime you're near. My body and soul belong to you. Oh, don't ever say we're through. We're still in love on the side. Still in love on the side. You don't belong to me. I don't belong to you. Still we're together. If that's enough for you, it's enough for me.
Lady, I'm your knight in shining armor, and I love you. You have made me what I am, and I'm yours. My love, there's so many ways I want to say I love you. Let me hold you in my arms forevermore. You have gone and made me such a fool. I'm so lost in your love, and oh, we belong together.
Yes, and of course, that's pause for a cause. Of course, as you would see on the screen behind me, that of course we are celebrating the 100 day or 100 days of first 100 days of the new administration led by Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Honorable Prime Minister, and of course the leading, of course, the UNC and the coalition of interests. And tonight, of course, I want you to call in to tell me what are some of the highlights that you would have taken away over this last 100 days. And indeed, of course, tell us about the negatives as well, because, of course, constructive criticism, after all, is a feature of democracy, and it allows people to grow, whether personally, whether as a group, or whether as a family, even on your jobs and in other spheres of human activities. So I would really appreciate it tonight, a frank discussion on where are we and what are your views, and what assessment you would have made, and whether or not you have disappointments. All of that is part and parcel, par for the course, so to speak, as we critically, because we didn't get that in the last administration. It was only as soon as, of course, somebody say that, listen, you're ugly, which of course is a fact. I'm using that as an analogy, but really and truly, when they were told that they were doing ugly things, he was quick, of course, to snap and back and to be on the offensive, and aggression being the best form of defense. And we have seen that, of course, too often, not just not to be concerned, but to see them for what they were and are, a bunch of cowards, cop out. They don't want to face the reality of their circumstance, or, put another way, that people have different views about the same thing, and therefore it must be seen in that light. People have their own views on the same matters, because this is a democracy. We are going to make some changes, of course, to the program as we move forward. About a half an hour will be dedicated to advertisement, promoting, of course, community initiatives. across the corridor in particular. And we are going to, of course, look at interviews and so on, ordinary persons on the ground, but looking at ways and means of ameliorating, of improving, and clearly of making Trinidad and Tobago the place much better than Rowley and they could ever dream of or do. And we are seeing it on a daily basis. I'll play you a video in a while from the contribution of the Minister of Industry. And you will get an appreciation, and maybe you'll find some information as well to maybe engage tonight, because things may be too, what I consider to be almost totally satisfactory, so that you are not tempted, of course, to make a call. Don't forget, of course, the number to call, 337-6940, 337-6940. But let me say, first and foremost, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, northwest, south, central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed. Of course, don't forget to get us on YouTube. You simply log on to Corridor Transformation. Corridor Transformation. We're going to put up some of that in due course, and so that you can follow just in case you're having difficulty. And then, of course, on Facebook, don't forget you cannot log into Corridor Transformation. You will get a unpleasant surprise, I would want to think. But of course, if you log on to Alfred John, certainly you'll get us right now on Facebook. Very, very, very important. But what are some of the issues that we would have had to raise last night that we must of necessity raise tonight, because of course tomorrow is the beginning of the work week? Well, we have several developments, of course. And I think the major of them is the whole question of that of the former Attorney General. Finally, retribution may now overwhelm him. I mean, come on. Your children holding high power weapons, you disown them. Rowley says yours. Yeah? You then come, of course, and your car that you sell, try to, of course, shift attention to Lee. Lee would have had his own challenges. But what about yours? How come your car was sold without being transferred? And the lame duck excuse, much more lame duck than that of, if you want to consider it lame duck, than that of David Lee and his, because I could see a man buying a car and he may get, of course, some benefits as a consequence of the position he holds, in this case, of course, a parliamentarian, and get, of course, some taxes off. And if I decide to give it to somebody, why is, of course, the period for the expiration of the benefit that I am supposed to get as a consequence of that tax benefit? What the hell that has to do with anybody? Because you see, it is so stupid that if you put yourself in the position, you would see that is a no case. If it is that I lend a man the car, and even if I give it to him, but it didn't transfer, what you're trying to get the police involved in that for? What you getting involved in that for? Because you see it regularly in the man place. It doesn't mean it means that somehow Lee sell the car. The fact is that the regulatory and the documentary evidence at the licensing office is that it was in and still is in Lee's name. What you getting involved in that for? But no, that was designed to shift blame, because you see, they create conditions where they have put asunder, they have destroyed the concept of if your neighbor home is on fire, throw water on yours. But more specifically, don't throw stone if you have glass house. When they create the glass house, they're throwing the stone too. Create the glass house and throwing the stone too. And expect that what Al-Rari is now subjected to investigations, according to the judge, sent to the DPP to instruct an investigation into Al-Rari's role in the purported, and I'm being very diplomatic here, purported role in, of course, influencing the then CEO, and I think he still is, of CPEP, to do what? To expand those contracts in terms of time of those CPEP contractors and in terms of numbers, increase in actual numbers. And he said that in an affidavit in the court, the CEO that is, that Al-Rari pressured him to do it without showing any proof, and he didn't get any proof that the cabinet gave that approval. But you and I, who have been observing the conduct of Al-Rari, ought not to be surprised. Wherever he goes is some kind of shenanigan, just as Rowley. So birds of feather flock together. So what Rowley did, he gathered a bunch of rapscallions, a bunch of miscreants in that enterprise, that criminal enterprise called the PNM, where all of them, somewhere or another, would have participated, whether it be by their silence or their absence, or physically, actively involved. All of them are culpable. All of them. They cannot exculpate themselves from the fake oil matter, from the Vincent Nelson matter, from the shortlist intervention in relation, of course, to the then Police Service Commission. They cannot exculpate themselves from the Brent Thomas matter, when the court said in no uncertain terms that he was kidnapped from Tobago. From Tobago? No. From Barbados. From Barbados, Brent Thomas, yes. One of our citizens. Send a plane for him and bring him back. All because they were intoxicated with power. That's all that was about, That level of high-handedness, that level of arrogance and contempt, that level of nonchalance when people are suffering and one of them will jump up and say they're greedy. That level of self-serving, aggrandizement at our expense is phenomenal and unfathomable and indeed unpardonable. Yes, unpardonable. Nobody feels sorry for Al-Rari if things get worse for him. They will say it's retribution time. They have done enough. They have suffered us enough. Yes, indeed. But let's get back, of course, to the evaluation of the 100 days of the Kamala Prasad Bisesa-led administration. Because we have a lot to, of course, be thankful for. First and foremost, I think the major thank that we can give Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the UNC, and the coalition is that of getting rid of the PNM. Yeah, I know that you are giving me a round of applause for that singular, not observation, but that fact. First thing, getting rid of the PNM, having regard to what I just said, and having regard to what you know, that we can, of course, compile a whole dossier on these wicked people. So, that's the first thing. But of course, it is common knowledge now that we are not going to be subjected to any property tax. We are not going to be subjected, of course, to the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. We are not going to be subjected, of course, to increase in electricity or water rates, etc. But there remains, of course, some very important component, which is, of course, the financial and economic situation in the country. A budget is to be had, a budget is to be read, the country is to be run. There were promises of a 10%, starting at a 10% for the public servants. Matters that have not yet been thoroughly addressed. Of course, while that was happening, there were several discoveries, as is normative and as it is an imperative that any new government will have to evaluate policies and programs, seeing whether or not they are in line with their own policies and program, or indeed whether they were abused by way of overruns and similar to, of course, discoveries made as far as CPEP is concerned, URP is concerned, the reforestation program is concerned, and therefore that would, of necessity, while of course it is crucial, very crucial, and I accept that, for the innocent ones. But this is a case where, unfortunately, the innocent will have to be caught up in the delay until, of course, the entire matter has been thoroughly, or should I say matters have been thoroughly investigated, examined, and a new pathway is found, whether you're going the same route as far as those programs are concerned, or you are going to, of course, make some adjustments, or you're going to close them down all entirely and, of course, replace them with something else. Because to replace them, you must. You see, the government cannot, with a magic wand, employ everybody. These programs were designed to treat with the unemployed. And in fact, of course, the unemployment relief program speaks for itself. But of course, there are those who have made it, of course, their employment, their place of employment. And that too will have to be revised, because it is supposed to be a temporary program, an ephemeral program, a program that was supposed, of course, to give people a hands up, give people a temporary respite, or generate a situation where they can put food on their tables. But of course, over the years, it has morphed into, of course, a situation where some people have become dependent on it. Dependent on it. I suppose there is a level of reciprocity there, because the program itself have made some people depend on it as well, by accommodating them. especially in the area of administration. Let's face it, you can't be changing an administration every 2 months, every 3 months, as the case may be, to administer that program. So you must have stability there in order for the others that are doing the work in the streets, ostensibly doing the work in the streets, whether they be ordinary laborers, a woman, arm of the program, a foreman, a checker, as the case may be. You have to have a stable administrative team to treat with that in every region across the country. And there is where, of course, some people have grown to depend on the program, and the program, of course, vice versa, have grown to depend on them, because without them, then, of course, the hundreds of thousands that get the little 3 fortnights or the fortnight will not be able, of course, to do so without a stable, consistent, and, of course, efficient administrative staff, because they would have institutional knowledge. They will know where all what is, how to treat with the accounts, how to record, how to prepare checks, how to send money to the bank. That, by and large, is a specialist. You must know. You can't go and take up documents. You're a freshman, you now come and take up documents and then start, of course, to put out names willy-nilly and then make up documents appropriate for the exchequer or for the accounts department to see, what is happening, so they can prepare checks in order to send it to the bank or to the institution that they normally would deal with to, of course, complete this cycle, which, of course, is pay. That's what we are talking about. So that is where we are at with respect to those programs. Unfortunately, as I say, in order to, of course, they say, in order to fry egg, you have to break it. I suppose that's the classic case. And therefore, of course, there'll be a little pain, but I don't think is the amount of anxiety that Alrari and, of course, Penelope Beckles and that fella called Marcel and all of them, Marvin, I don't think that it is as egregious as they would like it to be. The egregiousness is to the extent that they want, of course, things to be to smoothen over, so they will not be held accountable for the ghosts and the malfunctioning and the maladministration and the corruption and the nepotism and the cronyism that clearly we are seeing unfolding on a daily basis and hitting us right in our faces. It's unfortunate, as I say, that I trust that it will not go beyond the period that the workers would have gotten without working, will gotten a pay without working. And let's hope that by the time that period is exhausted, that the program is back on even keel in whatever form, so that they could get back to work. Of course, the exaggeration by Penny and Day that is school time and this and all of that, that is what it is, exaggeration. It is exaggeration. But I want, of course, to play a clip for you tonight. That is, of course, is the Minister of Trade, Minister of Trade in the Parliament, and I think it will put things in perspective in terms of what we are looking at and what to expect in the budget. Because, of course, the 100 days would have expired and we have to move on to managing the affairs of the country. Let's look at him in the Parliament.
Let me now return to the issue of disinvestment, which I referenced earlier. Because this is not theoretical. It is real, and the consequences are already being felt across our economy. Let us consider a few examples. I have more. Lever Brothers, a long-standing foreign direct investor and manufacturer, was neglected for years. Nobody worked with them. Rather than being supported and engaged, they were ignored to the point that they shut down their manufacturing operations entirely, and they are not alone. Do you know what it takes to get a foreign investor? A foreign investor is gold. You have to treat them as such. ArcelorMittal, one of the largest non-energy manufacturers and exporters in Trinidad and Tobago, and a major foreign exchange earner, was driven out of his country, not by market forces, but by government indifference. The previous administration outright refused to meet with them to address their concerns. As a result, we lost hundreds of jobs, millions in annual foreign exchange earnings, and one of the most significant contributors to our non-energy economy. Let us be clear, this was not just an economic loss, it was a self-inflicted wound. Let me turn to Petrotrin, because I'm from South and I've seen it firsthand, Mr. President. I've seen the pain and the agony and what that closure has caused. So I'm talking from my heart here. What happened here is nothing short of a national disaster. The economic and social devastation across the Southern Belt is well known. Jobs lost, foreign exchange lost, national revenue lost. Productive national assets now lie idle. And all this based on what we now understand to be a misleading narrative. You see, I am 45 years in business. I could read a balance sheet. I could read a P&L. I could read a cash flow. So when I looked at it, I saw something. And I consulted with other people. I believe seeking professional help is always important. If they have sought international professional help with that Clico matter, we wouldn't have been in this mess today. The government, that's another one, that's going to come up at a different time. The government of the day told the country Petrotrin was hemorrhaging losses. But I have reviewed the 2018 audited accounts, and here's what they show. I'll just round it off. In 2017, Petrotrin generated $2.5 billion in net cash from operating activities, of which $500 million was used for investment and $1.8 billion for financing. That left a cash surplus. In 2018, the year the decision was made to shut it down, Petrotrin was still generating $2 billion in positive cash flows. Approximately $600 million was reinvested and $1.7 billion was used to meet financial obligations. There was no imminent solvency, Mr. President. The country was still generating foreign exchange and meeting it. The company was still generating foreign exchange and meeting its debts. Despite this, decision was made against the advice of consultants and without any restructuring plan to shut down a critical national enterprise. The result, a staggering economic blow and the destruction of one of our most strategic national assets. Let me be clear. The story that was told to the population was not one of financial necessity. It was one of political expediency. A fraud, in the purest economic sense, was committed on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we are still paying the price today. Worse yet, this isn't an isolated pattern. We have inherited over $100 billion, way above $100 billion in distressed and abandoned national assets, stranded assets, from Petrotrin and carrying the lands the Cuba Teaching Hospital or Children's Hospital, Tamana, the Tamana Intech Park, UEDB Campus, National Oncology Center, Magdalena Grand, and dozens of unfinished, forsaken HCC developments across the country. Each of these represents not just lost money, but lost opportunity, lost confidence, and lost time. These failures are not abstract. They have eroded our industrial base, undermined investor trust, and crippled our ability to compete. This is a legacy we are here to reverse, but rest assured, we will fix it. We are going to transform this economy beyond oil and gas, tourism, investment, and trade. So we also want to do a cultural reset in this country. We are transforming the internal mindset within the ministry and across the wider public sector. Business and investments are not burdens. They are the engines of prosperity. And we are sending a clear signal. Trinidad and Tobago is open for business, serious business. I just saw it announced today, and the Minister of Planning just reminded me. We now have 2 new flights to Tobago to boost local tourism. So, Mr. President, we are not only focused on short term. We have a target. You know what gets done. So we set a target of investment we want to achieve in 2 years and in 5 years. It's ambitious. But you know, when you set targets, you get, you know, the ministry have really good people that never had any guidance and leadership that they can look up to. They're good. I was shocked how good these people are, right? And we set targets for them. And we say we want so much U.S. investment in 2 years. And they're starting to add, right? And they're welcoming people, how much that investment is, right? And they're focused on that. So we are open for business. We are. It's serious business. But we also have a long-term transformational plan on the way. Let us never forget, Trinidad and Tobago is the greatest country on earth. This is the first world country in waiting. With bold leadership, strategic clarity, and unified national action, we will secure her economic future, not only for today, but for generations to come. Mr. President, honorable senators, this is a time for bold steps, not business as usual. The work ahead will not be easy, but it is necessary. We owe it to our people, our entrepreneurs, our youth, and our future. At the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism, we intend to move forward together with urgency, with unity, and with unshakable confidence in the greatness of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
Well, people, of course, there you got it,
Let
of course.
me now return to the
Ministry
issue
of
this
Trade,
which I referenced earlier.
Investment and Tourism.
Because this is not theoretical.
Let me just make
It
certain
is
that
real, and the consequences are already
that
being
we shut him up, because I mean we don't want him talking too much, but we can leave him in the background. So people, I think you have gotten, of course, a full sufficiency of information to understand where, beyond this 100 days, where the government head is at. They understand the difficulties that was created unnecessarily by the PNM, and we have to say it, because if we do not take heed of what transpired, we may well be lured or be deceived into repeating it. You don't want that. Bad experiences must be amputated and left behind, buried and forgotten. Well, not necessarily, but certainly buried. As we move forward with new ambition, renewed faith, and of course with a program of activity that indicates that prosperity is around the corner for Trinidad and Tobago. We await, of course, the presentation of the Minister of Finance on the 2026 budget. That will be read, of course, this year, so 2025-26 budget. But the fact of the matter is that we have a government in place that is acting on all fronts. That was just the trade and investment and tourism front. But then we also have, of course, crime and criminality, the homeland security, and we have, of course, the border or the external operations minister, two ministers, two different functions, and two different, therefore, ministries, but acting in concert with each other as far as crime and criminality is concerned, because you cannot have the Minister of Homeland, for example, seeing about police matters and domestic things that are happening on land and in the rivers and in the byways on Trinidad, while of course the borders are open. So therefore, of necessity, given the nature of their business, they have to be able to coordinate. In fact, I think it was strategic as well as common sense that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the Honorable Prime Minister, would have, of course, made Sturge the person responsible for external matters as far as the borders and the marine environment is concerned, but to put him, of course, in the Ministry of what? Of Homeland as well, with Roger Alexander. I think it was a very smart and frugal and common sense and rational decision to do that. Let me just check to see if the phones are up and running, because I want to make sure that you have no excuse tonight that you couldn't call because the phone was not functioning. Let me make sure, because by now we should be getting a call. Right, so I'm seeing that things are looking as how it ought to. All right, so it means therefore maybe the lapse last night might have caused some people to come of the view that we may not have a program tonight. But I'm the kind of person who say what I will do and do what I will say. And while last night was, of course, beyond my control, certainly, of course, so we have to rebound and we have to continue, of course, with the task ahead of us. There are other matters that we have to also look at as we move forward. You see, the whole question of our young people is a very important component. And I see that this government is, of course, very, very, very active in that regard. I am supposed to call Saddam Hussein because yesterday I got wind of some information purely by accident. I went, of course, to get some information from a particular individual, and then she told me, listen, 2 weeks ago, a little child who was hooked up to tubes all over called the office of Saddam Hussein, and I understand within days that child was offered for an operation, I think it's in Brazil or somewhere there. and she has now returned, I think 2 or 3 days ago, sound and well, and that was courtesy, of course, the Children's Life Fund. So I want to say hip hip hooray. Let me see if I can get Saddam Hussein and let's hear what he has to say with respect to that matter. I think it is so important that I think we should be able to we should get an idea as to what role he would have played. Let's see if we can get him. Yes, right. Let me see if I can get him. So let's hear if he's around. I know these fellas are busy, but they can't be more busy than me, because here we are, we dealing with, of course, the people's business. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's hear if he would pick up. We call him Saddam Hussein. Incidentally, I made no arrangement. I'm doing this by just accident, let me put it that way. So it's no guarantee that he will listen or if he is available. But of course, that is the best way to treat with matters such as these, where you catch them unprepared, and they will be able, and they will have to tell us, of course, once you put them in the position to tell us what transpired. Let's try again. Yes, indeed. Yes, Saddam, we're looking for you. If anybody is viewing at this time and close to Saddam Hussein, tell him that we are trying to get him on the corridor transformation. We have some news that of course, it tells me that the Children's Life Fund is really functioning speedily. Pleasant good night. Hello. All right, so no answer. I will call a little later. But if not tonight, we'll try to get him on the ground report. I will share the information with Andy. And of course, hopefully that we'll be able to get him on the ground report if we don't get him here tonight. But of course, I thought that was a very humanitarian, a very humane, a very people-oriented situation, scenario that needed to be highlighted. And we must. If somebody did something good, yes, by all means. And I think I will be delighted to treat with that. Because on the other hand, I visited another person to help him with his, of course, after I have his information there, need to drop it back for him. Senior citizen seeking to get his NIS organized, and he wanted me, of course, to follow up for him because he is a bit immobile. But then, of course, while he's there, he showed me a belly that, you see in those, long time you used to see them in those African pictures of famine scenarios. The pot belly is called kwashika, lack of protein. But he has a belly, huge. And in conversation, he said, listen, since he took the COVID vaccine, I think it's Sinopharm, one of those, I think it's the American vaccine, or is it? Whichever. I'm going to get the information. But the fact is that since after that, his belly just his gut just swell, and he has been crying that around for some time. In fact, he tells me that in order for him to defecate, he has to, of course, take a laxative every time, and that costs money. But yet still, the belly will not go down. He has agreed when I deliver his package for him that I will take a picture, but of the belly, not of his face. So I'm going to do that just to show you what transpired. And of course, that is compiled with and compares with the many instances of persons. Because that's not the first person. He is still alive, but I know of several who have died. And they link the death to taking of the COVID vaccine. And the point remains, as always, how Rowley and they force civil servants, and many of them, including police officers and so on, are reeling from, of course, the repercussions of that vaccine. And if people cannot make a nexus, make a connection between the ailment and that vaccine, even though they were perfectly all right, as far as they are concerned, before the administering of that vaccine, the fact of the matter is that because it will be difficult to prove, on the one hand, are not seeking redress, and on the other hand, there's some people who have, of course, a deep sense of pride and may not want, of course, to expose themselves to the rigors of some kind of court arrangement so as to seek redress. So you have that as well. But in all cases, the Rowley administration would have been responsible for persons who would have been forced, and if they had a choice, will not have. But because their work is one of a public servant, they had to take the vaccine in order for them to survive, no matter how long they were working in the job, and no matter how secure that public service job was. That is the nature of the beast we are talking about here, the P&M administration. And you heard, of course, the minister, who, of course, gave a very comprehensive analysis. Because remember, when we were questioning why you're closing down Petrotrin, what about ArcelorMittal? Why did you go and speak to the people? And so many others, like, of course, Carney Green, the Shagaramas Development Authority, all of them were summarily dismissed. And these people have the audacity, the temerity, the gall, the effrontery to come in our faces today and say they care about CPEP workers. No, they are political opportunists of a parasitic nature. Let me repeat. They are political opportunists of a parasitic nature. In other words, they take and they don't give back. They just want to get into power. And as it is said, power intoxicates and makes men giddy. And these people are drunk, even though they don't have it. But the prospects, the dreaming of it, makes them permanently inebriated, drunk. Because there's also a saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, they would have, with their 23 seats and 22 seats, They took absolute power, even though the people didn't give them it. And as we saw, of course, those draconian measures, some of them out of this world, some of them designed to specifically target people's mattress money, and wherever the money is, get it. Whilst they failed to, of course, expand the economy and to diversify and to, of course, take away the environment where foreign direct and indirect investment can take place. In other words, they mash up, they ruin, they destroy, they devastated, they annihilated the economy, and then come in our faces and believe that somehow we are fools in perpetuity. And so they go to, of course, their cabinet meetings and they recuse themselves. They recuse themselves in order to give their friends and family and acquaintances the largest of the state through the cabinet. Even when and after they gutted, of course, the procurement. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Yes, indeed. They gutted the procurement legislation with their friends, of course, in high places. Yes, that is what they did to us. And we must remember, we must be in constant vigilance, lest we, of course, are doomed to repeat. We must know that they will come with what they are coming with now, pretending like wolf in sheep clothing, that they love those people who they said were greedy when they were looking for what? When they were looking for a hamper. Let's go straight to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
And good night to everybody on the line.
Yes, man.
Hey, Mr. Lennox, listen.
Yeah.
You see that one brilliant so-called dollars mistake that Stuart Young, make? You were going over that now. I want to know how come a man can make such a mistake like that. Like $7 billion, So if that wasn't discovered, right? That would mean that like $7 billion gone in somebody's pocket.
But what's now the what I consider to be the incompetence is so gigantic and was so conspicuous that it was the other side that said, listen, it come like a fella, you buy something from him, and then he give you overchange. He give you overchange. Yes, that's coming from. He give you overchange more than what the thing costs. That is what happened with these guys. But no, you see, why you have to blame them is because Rowley was up and down the country saying that he is the best salesman for the country. He said that he went to the boardrooms and he renegotiated, and every time he renegotiated something harsher and more wicked and much more barbaric for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, detrimental to the country.
I'm telling you, every time. And look, this simple case where you just have to be careful and use your simple arithmetic and calculate this thing. And he doesn't want to take. And they don't take blame. They never take blame. Always somebody else. Go ahead, my friend.
What? The next thing is, remember when Auntie Kamala was in office in 2010 to 2015, and we only started with the stupid nonsense about the email gate and stupidness, right? Remember the police and them, right? They get Auntie Kamala and Mr. Ram Logan things, the computers and all kind of thing.
The devices, yes.
The devices, right? That's what I want to say. The devices. How come it is now? I ain't seen a police go on by Faris Al-Rawi to check and get all his devices and things. And you understand? To deal with his matter concerning CPEP.
Well, I will tell you why. That case is so airtight. It's open and shut. As I said, remember I keep saying that they have been so blatant. They have been so conspicuous. They have been so, reckless, that a rookie coming out from the training college would investigate them and find them guilty with the evidence that they have. Well, that's what happened here. There is an affidavit two affidavits in the court, in the court documents.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
One from the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Of Finance, and one from the CEO of CPEP, saying that Al-Rari, one saying that of course there must be cabinet approval for over $1 billion, right, in extension and bringing on new contractors. It's one hand. And then the other one is saying that Al-Rari was pressuring me to engage, and I say, well, I assume that he was on good grounds when he said that the cabinet did make an approval. But you notice something? They bring Imsbert in to say that CPEP had since 2015 an open check to do what they want with free money. You see them as mad people? Yeah? They should lost Imsbert in jail too for that stupidness. Exactly. And he put it in the public domain, believing, and all of that because they know that their party is disintegrating, So they're trying to salvage the party. That's what happened there. So they're trying to salvage the party. It is disintegrating before their eyes by their own actions, but they don't want to accept that they are the ones that has caused that. And we said so. We said when Rowley finished with the PNM, there is no more PNM because of how blatant they have been. And that is what is unfolding on a daily basis. Anything else?
Mr. Lennox, one more to me before I go. Here we go now. You see PNM? They must never see office for the other 10 decades.
They mustn't see it at all. 10 decades is early. They mustn't see it at all. But listen, what's your view on the 100 days? Because it's going to be, there's some
I think it's excellent. I think that is wonderful. Among the things that anti-cams and them have done, right? In the first 100 days being in office, look how many things they have already accomplished, right? Yes. They have accomplished things that Rowley and them has not accomplished in the last 10 years that them was there, You understand? And I ain't bothered to even name them. But one thing I like about the government, right? They have the element of surprise. They ain't telling nobody the business.
Boy, oh
they
boy,
just coming on.
I told you that. I said that. They ain't talking. But when the Attorney General say, I'll go to war with you, and he pointed out. And then he come back and say that, listen, I'm going to war with those who I know. He said that he conjecturing, He didn't say that he guessing, He didn't say that it's by chance, He said who I know have, of course, abused the national purse and abused their office, and therefore are blasted corrupt.
Listen,
a serious statement, man.
Exactly. I like what you do. We say eyeball to eyeball. We point them out and let them know, hey, I'm coming for you.
That's why one time.
And I like, yeah.
So
okay,
all the chivalry that they pretending by holding press conferences and so on. I saw when Al-Rari nearly shitty pants. Using the term shitty pants.
I mean.
When he had to answer for Vincent Nelson. You remember that? And they asked him,
yes,
did the Prime Minister know? Yeah. Only look, I'm vexed before I play it, because those sycophants and them and those who want to hang out in this dribble, I feel I should play just for Ole to realize that Ole really hanging on to a dribble, and a dribble cannot withstand any tension. Thank you, my friend.
Mr. Lennox, one more thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
see them fellas Bamsi? Them
Yeah.
fellas are them Bamsi clapping like a church service right now. Where that I going?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay,
I
God
hear you. Yes,
bless.
man. All right, let's see. A pleasant good night, Mr. Tagri. No. Mr. San Fernando. Pleasant good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
I want to say this, you know.
Right.
Anti-cams would have to put something extra in the budget, you know.
Tell me.
She will have to put that extra to purchase silver bracelets.
I hear you, my friend. Yeah. They put a blatant, they believe the change was them on. And, you know, I always used to ask the question, well, if Eric William give all your Trinidad and Tobago, then who gave it to Eric William? They can't answer that at all, but suddenly they believe that they could do that and get away with it.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Because I find this man is so corrupted. I just waiting with a bated breath for the police just to go and arrest him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the next thing, the reason why I'm saying so too is because the Wednesday, I remember the Wednesday before, I think that meeting took place the Wednesday before election on Harris Promenade. That was a PNM meeting where Faris Harari
Yeah.
was talking about the Section 34.
Yeah.
Now we talk and he twist and he tell people all the thing about money and the fridge and anti-cams was this and who was involved in the Section 34 and all kind of thing. But you know one thing you didn't tell them?
Yeah.
That they supported that Section 34, you know.
I hear you. I hear you, because right now they would want to use something like that to get off.
Yeah, so I just waited with a bated breath.
Yeah, but
So,
but I don't think they would be that fortunate. They have been so blatant that it won't go that long, because you know it's over time, a certain amount of time, yes. And if any matter wasn't called, then of course they benefit from that. But them can't benefit from that. It's immediate. It's immediate evidence in the court. It's not a long time. It's immediate evidence. The evidence is clear. It's blatant. It's there.
No, the evidence is so clear. And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. I think I heard somebody say that, okay, he have money. And if he have money, maybe he could bribe the police to get off or something and cause the police to, once the police take a bribe.
Yeah, but
You know,
not with this commissioner of police. This is a genuine commissioner of police. He topped the grade for the police service commission.
Yeah,
He
but
wasn't
what I want
he
to
wasn't
say-
he wasn't given a blight. Go ahead.
Right, but what I want to say is this. If that police officer, whoever it is, going to arrest him and take a bribe, then he becomes an accomplice.
Well, of course, and this commissioner, I'm sure, will deal with him
and-
appropriately. Yeah.
And the evidence is so clear
Yeah.
that if he says he offer a bribe,
Yeah. He and Alvary will still go to the gallows, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, all right. Well, I look at the vision tonight.
No problem, man. Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Tagrigo? All right, I saw Mr. Tagrigo there. You could call back if you wish. Yes, man. Yes. So here it is. We have this situation where Alrari, as the caller rightly said, backside probably palpitating at this point in time. Let's go to the line. Pleasant good night. Welcome, Mr. Tagrigo. Sorry about the cutting off earlier. Yes, good night.
How you going, boy?
Well, you know, as could be in this circumstance. Yes, boy.
Yeah, you hear me good?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Right. You know, you never always wicked, boy. When they close on Carney,
Yeah.
just thing, see.
Mhm.
Land, you have to give the Carney workers the land, right?
Right.
Man, they put that case in court,
Uh-huh.
and fellas dead and they get that land. I don't know why all kind of people claiming land there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, boy, they're wicked from day one.
Yeah, boy.
Why you should do something like that?
Hmm.
The other day I asked John Ford talking on the TV, you know what he said? The whole time we ever had as a government is when George Chambers was the Prime Minister.
Right.
You know why he said that, Lennox?
Well, I know you have been advocating, so you went.
Stupidness with every race talk and all that, you know.
Right.
George Chambers was a totally different fella. I always said he was a nice man.
Yeah, but
Now when they get rid of him,
I wonder if that's why he didn't want,
that's what I'm saying.
the family didn't want anybody like them in the funeral.
Lennox, you hearing me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Right, fella. Now I will tell you something.
Hmm.
Since I know myself,
Ah.
I always live by 8 golden rules.
Hmm.
Read, write, spell, and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
All right.
The read, write, spell, and understand come from the dictionary A to Z.
All right.
And add, subtract, multiply, and divide come from the number system, not 10.
I hear you.
Yeah, and not nice outside of that.
All right.
Anybody who living outside of 0 to 9 and A to Z,
Hmm.
they're living in fantasy land, you know.
All right.
Right? And you know how you're looking at that. There's nothing outside of that.
Uh-huh.
Somebody has to show me that.
Of course.
Now, I see they're going with this artificial intelligence. You see that? You see that?
Hmm.
Nobody can me down that road, you know.
All right.
I ain't going down that road with that.
I hear you. I hear you.
Because they say they're still retaining
Right.
the original dialect of we know. So we're retaining that voice of the AI.
Hmm.
In America, right now,
Yeah.
top people talking about that.
All right.
That's that kind of nonsense thing, you know.
Yeah.
I tell you, my mind, you might have support you, see.
Right.
But the length of time that boy had to sit down to explain to people what he's talking about. If I
Mm-hmm.
was in that classroom, I'd have walked out.
All right.
Right now, I can tell that fella, look, there's a spade, there's a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
I could show him what's the difference. But what you talking about there, can't do that.
All right.
So I ain't going down that road with them boys, you know.
Hmm.
Me know about you.
I hear
And
you.
I hear talk about the brothers. Right?
Yeah.
I used to work there, Lennox.
If what?
About the brothers.
Uh-huh. Right.
I worked there for 7 years, you know.
Okay.
That was one of the best companies in this country, why?
Yeah.
Everybody used to live like brother and sister. You know, they got the 1 or 2 stitch.
Right.
And we get rid of a company like that. When I hear the my brothers leaving the country,
Hmm.
I say, God, boy, drag on metal.
Yeah. Well, I'll play the Minister of Trade again, so you'll
They tell him about
understand.
this made to live.
Yeah, boy.
She know more about metal than them.
Yeah.
That's why the fellas clear out
That's
and
sad, you know, boy.
everything.
And the thing about it is, I remember, Rowley, when these people were saying they pick up the thing and go, just as how he said that he preferred to pay for vaccine even though he couldn't get it for free. Pay for vaccine. It's the same kind of recalcitrant, the same kind of injury, the same kind of stone-headed, stone-hearted kind of approach. He don't care about the people. So he said that let them go. That we say, let them go.
And then he said,
Let them go, you know why? That man said that, you know why?
Yeah, and then he come back and say, he know them back, he will never work.
Yeah.
They like my head now. But why? That's the extent, you know what I call that?
Tell me.
That's the extent of people, I can't explain that.
Yeah, you can't explain that, truth. And watch me. It's the same way in the constituency, you know. When between 2010 and 2015, when they sent hampers for him, he used to tell them, cry back, you know.
Yes, boy.
Cry back. And when I remember when Kamala and they with Top had lost the elections in Tobago, he was in the glee. He said, listen, look, they bring a boatload of food card. Anybody in Tobago could have get. And he was castigating. And when his turn come now, he glad to take away 11,000 one way and another couple thousand next way with both of them have Cox name. You have Donna Cox and you have Cockburn.
Cockburn.
Yeah. Everybody have Cock. Some Cock
Like
talk.
they are no full cock in the mix too.
Yeah.
They are full cock too.
Yeah, I hear you.
And you see that Caroni Green situation, you know?
Uh-huh.
When they take away the money from them people,
Yeah.
they send a fella from India for getting the Rao or something. So,
Yeah, wow, yeah. Uh-huh.
a big show in that. And the people start and cry and what the people bulldozer the thing.
Yeah.
I tell that boy, you know, I see that man in Valstein.
Hmm.
And he tried to tell me, I said, hello, I said, you lucky I was walking the way. Yeah, tell him just, I said, he killed us one so long.
Hmm.
But I shut up my crops, so you mean?
Yeah, boy.
The fella's buying nice thing ready to sell.
Hmm.
And the man bulldozer, boy.
Yeah, bulldoze it, yeah.
You know that come from Lennox?
Hmm.
Just because we Indians down here, they come from slavery, you know.
Oh, okay.
I don't always look at Indians down here.
Right.
I always look at us,
Hmm.
right? But not me so much. I only have that.
Yeah.
But some of them cricketers long time, Gavaskar, all them used to look at me, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I tell our old fella, I say, you look at it.
I hear you, but I'm watching the time. It's after 9:30. Yeah. We go talk.
Yeah, we're going past that, boy.
All right.
All right, we go talk.
Yeah. People, of course, well, we have come to the end of tonight's program. Of course, is after 9:30. Don't forget, of course, we still have the Love or MLIO or there's another institution that we have, Corridor Transformation. All of us combined, we put together in order to, of course, have this book drive. We have over 100 and something young people to send back to school. And we expect that several good Samaritans, whether online or you may know others that you want to contact us for. And call me. I've been promising to put the other phone number, but call me now. I will take the responsibility. So 337-6940, that number there. Call me anytime, and I'll just pass you on to my assistant, who would, of course, take charge of the entire exercise, because it's quite a challenge. I want to go as close as possible to the time tonight, because I have quite a lot of work to do for tomorrow by the time the morning reaches, and it's really consuming not just time but also energy, and sometimes you get fatigued, fall asleep a little bit and then get back up again. So I want enough time to do that, so to get some rest. All right. So people, of course, I don't think I will play that minister again, but I will just, of course, end with our anthem for Sunday. You know, we like to give it a religious swing or twist. Don't forget, once again, of course, the book drive, the back to school drive. If you want to sponsor a whole student, books and everything, call us. We will oblige. I remember going to Washington when we had the trade school in Fernandez compound, and I was able to negotiate, because most of the kids that go to the American University where I had did some lecturing would be either members of the government of the day or play some part in government, because it's Washington we're talking about. And we were able to get, of course, the twinning. And what I did, once they were interested, I asked them to, of course, directly contact the student, and they had a relationship, and they were responsible for mentoring that student right through until the end of their program with us. and then they take another one that comes into the program and so on. That is something I will have to revisit now that the circumstances of the country has changed, and I'm now motivated to work. But under Rowley and that is like pulling hair from them, because they're too high for them to comprehend, because they don't want anything easy for the ordinary guy and the downtrodden in the society. I'll be communicating, of course, as well with the Indian High Commission to send one or two of our people around here to India. We are focusing on the environment, so we're looking at solar energy development and so on. So quite a lot of work to be done, and I assure you that now that the PNM is out of the way, we will damn well get it done, because it is now an imperative that we get our shoulders to the wheel and to do what is required in order to develop Trinidad and Tobago in the quickest possible way. And that is an objective that all of us must have as part of our daily offering to Trinidad and Tobago, our daily commitment to Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, indeed. Having said that, of course, have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow morning on the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself. And we'll be back here tomorrow night with these and other issues. Bye-bye.